responsible plan makes a very clear statement of what the U.S. can do rather than what John McCain today said that some fairies would do.
Yes.
Please go on. That was.
Yeah. No. I really wanted to focus, as somebody who's running for Congress, on the things that Congress could do to bring a responsible end to this war. And so throughout the plan, the focus is really on congressional action in terms of helping to reorganize the State Department, for example, so that they have the capacity to do the level of diplomacy that's required, in terms of dealing with some pieces of the refugee crisis in Iraq, in terms of fixing the institutional failures in this country that led us into this mess to begin with, because we had a complete lack of adequate checks and balances in the decision-making process on this, and that's a huge piece of the problem, so it addresses that as well.
One of the great things about the plan is that one of the architects of it, some of the architects of it were people from the senior military, like General Eaton and Lawrence Cobb. How did you find them and reach out to them?
Well, I have a reasonably good Rolodex at this point, and I just started talking to people and asking them to help me find the right people to help me put this together. So I had talked to John Soltz at VoteVets, actually, and
John Soltz at votevets.org, a veterans lobbying group who has been doing tremendous work and was a fabulous person at Yearly Coast.
Yeah, John is fantastic, and he had suggested that I talk to General Eaton. So I got in touch with General Eaton and had a number of conversations with him. And then, he reached out to some of his contacts, and I reached out to some of the other contacts I had to try to expand the number of people we had involved. And we were looking for people who had expertise in the military, in the State Department, in the Department of Defense, in diplomacy, in humanitarian aid, to try to help us put this together.
One of the things that struck me as I was reading the plan is how clear and unflinching the prose is. It's like polar opposite from the ISG or from something that you read when you're looking at, say, a Brookings Institution document or think tank document. It's written in extremely straightforward declarative sentences. You start out by identifying U.S. interests, by focusing on the damage that's been done to the military preparedness, U.S. national security, the economy, and our most fundamental institutions. Can you just run through quickly, because how much time do we have, the damage that's been done?
Well, there's been damage done at, as you've mentioned, a number of levels in this country. Our U.S. military is stretched incredibly thin to the breaking point. They're having trouble recruiting people. They're losing the officers that are the next generation of military leadership, are choosing not to renew their contracts when...
Well, leaders like John Soltz, for example.
Leaders like John Soltz, for example. Our equipment is depleted, damaged, gone. So there's a tremendous amount of damage to the military itself that has to be addressed. Our national security has been compromised. The threat from groups like Al-Qaeda is actually increasing as they've had an opportunity along the Pakistan and Afghanistan border to reorganize and to strengthen things. The economic costs have been staggering.
Staggering is an underestimate, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the current estimates are that it'll be $3 trillion before, if we were to find some way to end the war right now, the total cost of the U.S. economy would be $3 trillion. We're looking at just in the appropriations that have happened so far, $16,500 for every family of four, about $3 billion for every congressional district in the country. So my little congressional district, $3 billion. And, the damage to core U.S. government and civil institutions in all of this has also been really substantial. The administration...
Well, one of the things that struck me is, people locally. National Guard, reserve people are frequently first responders to emergency. They're frequently people who have full-time jobs helping people, and they're gone now. That's
right. That is true, and we're seeing, as we have disasters here at home, that our capacity to respond to them adequately is diminished. We don't have the resilience that this country normally does, because we are stretched so thin by what's going on in Iraq.